Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the 12th session of Kavyalab Vaishishtya, organized by the Consciousness Studies program at the National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bangalore. So, Kavyalab is conceptualized by Dr. Sankita Menon, Head of Consciousness Studies program and Dean of Humanities, and Dr. Shankar Rajaraman, who is a postdoctoral research scholar with NIA CSP. Along with them, we are the coordinators for Kavyalab. I am Meera Menon, and with me there is Preet Kona. We are both doctoral scholars at NIAS. So again, it's a pleasure to invite all of you to this session of Kavyalab. We have it in two forms. We have Kavyalab Vaishishtya, where a very eminent poet or a performer would speak to us about their own genre of music or poetry or dance or whatever it might be. And we also have Kavyalab Vaivithya, where different poets come and share their poetry with us. So today's session is Kavyalab Vaishishtya, and I would invite Dr. Shankar Rajaraman and Preet Kona to speak a few words about it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Meera. To introduce the artist speaker for today, a brief introduction. Srimati S.K. Mahati is a Carnatic musician. She started learning music from a very tender age. Her father, a renowned Vainika, and her first guru has been instrumental in her acquaintance with music. A native of Vishakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, she was brought up in Kerala right from her childhood. For the past 15 years, she has been under the eminent guidance of Sri Tamarakkat Krishnan Nambudri and Sri Kumara Kerala Varma. She is a recipient of the CCRT scholarship granted by the Government of India and Chembai Puraskaram by the Government of Kerala. She is an A-graded artist from the All India Radio. She has given around 150 performances across the country in the most prestigious sabhas and venues. Before I hand over to Preet, a word about the title of today's program. We have named it Samarasyam. Samarasyam is a Sanskrit word derived from Sama and Rasa. It means blending of two tastes in equal measures. And why the program has been so named shall be clear when Preet introduces us to the topic of today's talk. So over to you, Preet.
Thank you so much, Shankar sir, and thank you, Meera. So not taking more time, just give you all in a brief what today's talk is going to be on. So the Sahityam forms the backbone of a musical composition. Its devotional, social, cultural connotations are numerous and multi-layered, which not only adds on to the essence or the soul of the composition, but also helps one understand the context in which it was produced. The soul of the Vagyakara, the composers of the lyrics and the music, gets manifested in the mirrored ways through the compositions, which we, learner and listener, get a glimpse of. Along with the musical ingenuity of the composer, the lyrical expertise is something one just cannot overlook. While appreciating the work in music, deep in its philosophical and devotional content, Sahityam also paves way. I'm sorry, 1 second. Deep in its philosophical and devotional content, the Sahityam also paves way for endless innovative explorations. The beauty and content of Sahityam, in terms of its poetry combined with music, has the potential to elevate the audience to higher levels of bhakti, that's devotion. The attempt here is not to fix meanings out of Sahityam that were used by the great composers, but to show how important a component of Sahityam is in contributing towards a larger experience of music. The speaker's insight into the beauty of Sahityam, its importance, and the way it is brought out in composition will be presented out of the speaker's experience, training as a vocalist and a learner. As a part of the presentation, the speaker would also throw some light on historical, philosophical, and or devotional content within compositions, drawing some examples from within the vast canvas of the genre of Carnatic classical music. Thank you so much, Srimati S.K. Mahati, for agreeing to be a part and talking for us. Over to you, ma'am.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So, namaskaram to all. my sincere thanks to the entire team of Kavya Lab and IAS for giving me this opportunity. To begin with, I would like to give a brief introduction about the composers of Carnatic music and also a few technical terms which I'll be using throughout the presentation.
Do I start the presentation, ma'am? Yes. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So now Sri Tyagaraja Swami, Sri Shyama Shastri and Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar, they are considered as the trinity of Carnatic music. As you can see, all of them lived almost during the same time, during the same era, right from the mid of 17th century to the mid of 18th century. Sri Tyagaraja Swami was a great devotee of Lord Rama. Most of his compositions are mainly in Telugu and Sanskrit. Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar and Sri Shyama Shastri, they were Devi Upasakas. Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar was a scholar in Sanskrit, and it is said that he traveled all across India and has visited many prominent temples of India and has also composed various kritis, various compositions on all the deities of these predominant temples. Sri Shyama Shastri was Upasaka of Devi Kamakshi. It is said that he learned Telugu and composed in Telugu. Next slide, please. So the Trinity composers are mainly Sri Annamacharya, Sri Purandaradasa, and Sri Bhadrachala Ramadasa. Sri Annamacharya is known as the Padakavita Pitamaha. He lived during the first half of 14th century, that is from 1408 to 1503. Mainly, he was a great devotee of Lord Venkateshwara of Tirupati, and most of his compositions are attributed to the god Venkateshwara. Sri Purandaradasa is known as the father of Carnatic music, who has formulated the basic lessons for the beginners in Carnatic music. He lived during the 14th century, from middle of 14th century to mid of 15th century. His compositions are mainly in Kannada and in Sanskrit. Annamacharya compositions are mainly in Telugu. Sri Bhadrachala Ramadasa was also a great devotee of Rama. He lived during the 16th century, that is just before Tyagaraja Swami and the Trinity. The post-Trinity composers, after right from the 18th century, His Highness Maharaja Swati Tirunal, who was a king of Travancore during the British India rule, he has composed in various ragas. He has included many Hindustani ragas also in his compositions. He has composed kritis, padams, javalis, varnas, ragamalikas, and many other musical forms. Shri Muttai Bhagavatar, Shri Mysore Vasudevacharya, Shri G.N. Balasubramaniam sir, Shri M.D. Ramanathan sir, and Dr. M. Balamurali Krishna sir. They were all great musicians and performers also, and they are composers also, whose compositions have widely contributed to Carnatic music. Yeah, next one, please. A few technical terms I would like to familiarize. The Sahityam means the lyric. Kriti is a composition. Pallavi is the first paragraph of a Kriti. Anupallavi is the paragraph which comes immediately after the Pallavi. And Charanam, usually it is the last paragraph of a composition, but there are compositions where there will be more than one Charanams. So when there are more than one Charanams, we call them as Samishti Charanas. Mainly we can see Samishti Charanas in the compositions of pre-Trinity from Purandaradasa, Sri Annamacharya, etc. Then Talam we know it's the basic rhythmic cycle, the beat, and the Ragam is a tune which brings out an emotion. Swara Kalpana or Kalpana Swara, we call it both ways. Usually it is the innovative way of singing the syllables, Sarigama Padani, however they are allowed in the raga. In some ragas, all the notes are not allowed. In some ragas, all are allowed. So depending on that, depending on the grammar of the raga, we form innovative musical phrases and sing swaras on the spot. Now, Kalpana Swara is on the spot singing. Kalpita Swara is which is already composed. So in the Kriti. So Kalpanaswara and Niraval, the next one, Niraval also, they are a part of Manodharma Sangeeta, which we sing on the spot, which is not pre-planned. So Niraval is nothing but we take a meaningful line from a composition, which is worth repeating many times, and then we sing it in the particular raga to bring out the emotion of the meaning of that line. Yeah, so next one. Yes, so I would like to discuss a few literary beauties which we can find in the compositions. First one is Yati. Yati is nothing but a delightful and decorative pattern which is used in Sahityam and in Sangeetam as well. For example, we have, I'll just explain the Yatis first and then go to the examples from the compositions. Now Yati, we have 7 notes, Sarigama Padani. Yati, the first type of Yati is Samayati. So as the name indicates, all the syllables of the consecutive words will be same in number. Like for example, if there are 4 words, all the syllables of the 4 words will be same in number. Like Hariguna, Manimaya, Saramulu, Galamuna. So Hariguna is 4, Manimaya is also 4, Saramulu is 4, Galamuna is also 4. So that is Samayati. So this Yati is very much used in the Tanam singing also in Carnatic music, where Samayati is very frequently used. For example, in this example, Pamama pariri gari ni sari gari ri sani pani sari ri ri Pamama pa hariguna manimaya saramulu galamuna shobhillu. So we can find the Samayati. Pamama pariri gari ni sari gari ri sani pani sari. So this is an example of Samayati. Go Pucha Yati, as the name indicates, Go is cow, Pucha is tail. So the Yati which takes the pattern of a cow's tail is called as Go Pucha Yati. Here we can find that the pattern descends gradually. For example, Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa, ni da pa ma ga ri sa, da pa ma ga ri sa, pa ma ga ri sa, ma ga ri sa, ri sa, sa. So it is reducing gradually. So this is an example of Gopucha Yati in the Swara renditions. So in Swaras, it is easy to render the Yati because we just have to have the idea of the notes. But in Sahityam, when Gopucha Yati is designed, it must have a meaning also. And it should fit the Talam cycle and it should blend with the raga and the emotion, etc. Next one, please. Yeah, Shrotovaha Yati. Shrotovaha, as the name indicates, it is the shape of a flowing river. That is, the river starts narrow and then it broadens gradually. So this is the ascending pattern. Sat ni sa da ni sa pa da ni sa ma pa da ni sa ga ma pa da ni sa re ga ma pa da ni sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. This is Shrotovaha Yati. So it starts with one syllable, then gradually increases. Sat ni sa da ni sa pa da ni sa ma pa da ni sa, like this. So this is Shrotovaha Yati. Mridanga Yati is a combination of both of them, the Gopucha and Shrotovaha. Like you can see in the pattern, first it increases gradually and reaches the maximum, then decreases in the same order. So this takes the shape of a Mridanga. That's why it is called as Mridanga Yati. Yeah, next one. Now, yeah, as I explained, the Gopucha Yati. This is one of the examples from composition of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar. Tyagaraja Yoga Vaibhavam, Agaraja Yoga Vaibhavam, Raja Yoga Vaibhavam, Yoga Vaibhavam, Vaibhavam, Bhavam, Vam. So this forms a gradual descending pattern. Tyagaraja Yoga Vaibhavam, Sada Shrayami Tyaga Raja Yoga Vaibhavam, Agaraja Yoga Vaibhavam, Raja Yoga Vaibhavam, Yoga Vaibhavam, Vaibhavam, Bhavam, Vam. This is a Gopucha Yati. So Tyagaraja Yoga Vaibhavam, Agaraja Yoga Vaibhavam, Raja Yoga Vaibhavam, Yoga Vaibhavam, Vaibhavam, Bhavam, Vam. So next one, please. Next, another example of Gopuchayati is found in another Kriti of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar. Shri Sarasapade, Rasapade, Sapade, Pade, Pade, Shri Varalakshmi, Namastubhyam. So this is Shri Sarasapade, Rasapade, Sapade, Pade. So it is also a gradual descending order. The next is Shrotovahayati, which is the opposite of Gopuchayati. That is from, it starts from the lowest, then gradually it increases. So in this example, coincidentally, the Swaram and the Sahityam both are in the Shrotovahayati. So the same Kriti, Tyagaraja Yoga Vaibhavam. Sham prakasham swarupa prakasham tattva swarupa prakasham sakala tattva swarupa prakasham Shiva Shaktyadi sakala tattva swarupa prakasham Tyaga Raja Yoga Vaibhavam. So this is an example of Shrotovahayati. The Swaram will also come in the same pattern. Sap Magari Sa Nida Pap Magari Sa 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 Nida Pa Magari Sa Pagari Sa Sa Nida Pa Magari Sa 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 Pa Pa Pagari Sa Sa Nida Pa Magari Sa. So this is Shrotovahayati. Yeah, next one. Next important aspect which we frequently find in the compositions of Carnatic music is prasam. Prasam is the word or the syllable ends the same way. I think in literature also prasam has the same meaning. For example, this is a composition of Sri Tyagaraja Swami in the Raga Athana. This is about Lord Rama. So Rara Rajiva Netra Raghubara Putra Saratara Sudhapura Hridaya Parivara Jalati Gambhira Dhanuja Samhara Budajana Vihara Sakala Shruti Sara. This is ending with Ra, Prasa. Again, in another composition of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar, Mamava Pattabhirama. This is also a composition on Lord Rama. Charitra Parama Pavitra Guru Guha Mitra Pankaja Mitra Vamsha Sudha Budhi Chandra Medini Bala Ramachandra Mahamava Pattabhirama. So this is an example of prasam. This is Antyakshara prasam actually, that is the last letter will be coming in prasam. The last syllable will be same. So another composition of Tyagaraja Swami, Vandanamu Raghunandana Setu Bandhana Bhakta Chandana. This is also a prasam. Similarly in the Charanam, the paragraphs of that composition, Shri Dama Nato Vadama Nebhedama Idi Modama. This is also a prasam. Vandanamu Raghunandana Setu Bandhana Bhakta Chandana Rama Vandanamu Raghunandana Shri Damana To Vadama Nebhedama Idi Modama Rama Vandanamu Raghunandana. So this is an example of Antyakshara prasam. Next one, please. Yeah, Anuprasam. Anuprasam is when a word is repeated. The word entirely is repeated many times in the same line. That is in the composition of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar in the Raga Shuddha Saveri. Shuddha Saveri is the same as Durga in Hindustani music. So, Shri Guru Guhataraya Shuma Surapati Shripati Ratipati Vakpati Kshitipati Pashupati Sevita. This is the Pati word is repeated many times in the same line. So this forms an Anuprasa. Similarly, in the Charanam of the same Kriti, we can find one Antyakshara Prasam also. Raga Dirahita Hridaya Vibhavita Sura Muni Pujita. This is also example of Antyakshara Prasa. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, Swaraksharam is a very interesting part where the Swaram and the Aksharam, both the syllable and the Swaram at that particular point, they blend with each other. For example, we have the syllables Sarigama Padani. So here, Sa, Da, Sa, Ma can be Swaraksharas because Sada in Sanskrit is always. Sada Palaya, always protect me. So Sada can come as Swaram Akshara. If that Ragam is having the notes Sa and Da, this Sada can be Swara and Aksharam where both are same. So for example, Mohana Ragam is Sariga Sa Sada Bagari Sa Sada Palaya. Sada Pa is Swaram and Aksharam, both are same. Sada Palaya. Sada Palaya. Sarasakshi Samanarahita Mohanagi Sada Palaya. So when we sing Kalpana Swarams for this, when we sing Swaram for this, we can Sariga Pada Sada Palaya. So this is Swaram and Aksharam are same. So they sound very delightful because the Swaram and the Aksharam blend with each other. Another example can be from another composition of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar in the Ragam Kannada. Suvasita Navajamanti Pushpa Vikasa Priya Hridayam Sadayam Masavarsha Pakshotsava Vibhavam Sadashivam Paramashivam. So this Sada is also Swaraksharam. So when we sing Swaras, Magamadani Sadashivam Paramashivam Shri Pagamari Sani Sada Nisa Gamadani Sagamari Sani Sada Pagamadani Sadashivam Paramashivam Shri. So we can say sing Swaras in a very interesting, very joyful, delightful way for the singers as well as the listeners. It will sound very, very joyful. Similarly, Sa Ma can also be a Swaraksharam because Sa Ma Javara Sa Ma Ga Sa Sa Da Ni Sa. The Swaram is same, Sahityam is also same. Similarly, another example is Sa Ma Ga Na Lolane Sada Shiva Shankarane Daya Parane Jaya Sa Ma Ga Na. The Swaram at that point is Sa Ma Ga Ma. So it comes Sa Ma Ga Na. This is next slide, please. We can also find many Swaraksharas in the Varnams. Varnam in music, Varnam is the basic lessons which are taught for the beginners. Though Varnam is a basic lesson, we sing it in the concerts also as the first item of the concert. So here also we can find many Swaraksharas. Now Pada Sarojamulane. Pada Sarojamulane Nammiti means I always have seeked refuge at your feet. So Pada Sarojamulane Nammiti. This is Telugu. So Nammiti means have always trusted in you. So Pada Sarojamulane Nammiti Padasa. That Padasa is Swaraksharam. Similarly, Pada Niradamule Nammiti Padani. This is Ragam Shanmuga Priya. Sarigama Padani Sa Saridavama Garisa. So here Padani is Swarakshara. Pada Niradamule Nammiti. Swaram and Aksharam will be same. Similarly, in Ragam Tanam Pallavi is the ultimate of the Manodharma Sangita in Carnatic music. That is, we formulate one line and we set it to a particular talam, to a particular beat in a particular ragam. And whatever innovations we can make in that depends on the artist's capacity, whether we want to change the ragas simultaneously, raga malika, whether we want to sing complex mathematical patterns, whether we want to bring in swaraksharas. So usually what we do for Ragam Tanam Pallavis, we set the Sahityam in such a way that it has Swaraksharams, so that it is delightful when we sing Manodharma Swaram, the Kalpana Swaras. So here, Ni Padamule Gatiyani Nammiti. Ni Padamule, your feet. Padamulu is feet. Gatiyani Nammiti. I have always believed that your feet is the ultimate refuge. So that is the meaning. ni padamule gadiyani nammiti ni padamapa is the swara. So ni padamule will come as swara and akshara will be same. Yeah, so next one. Yeah, Raga Mudra is also a very intellectual way of including the name of the raga in the composition. Suppose Kalyani is the raga. The name Kalyani will come in the composition somewhere in the Sahityam. So that is a very intellectual way of including the name of the raga will be same, and also the word will also have a meaning. For example, Saraswati Namostute Sharade Vidyapare. Saraswati. Saraswati is the name of goddess and Saraswati is name of the raga. Both. So here another example can be from the Dikshitar Kriti, Meenakshi Memudam, in the ragam Gamaka Kriya. Now Gamaka Kriya was the old name of the raga Purvi Kalyani. Now it is known as Purvi Kalyani. It was known as Gamaka Kriya during the time of Dikshitar. That is Dikshitars, that it is a separate list of ragas. Dikshitars Asampurna Mela Paddhati is there, where we have the ragas names are different. Now they are known with different names, but that time it was known as Gamaka Kriya. So he has used the name Gamaka Kriya in the composition, which is in Gamaka Kriya. So Veena Gana Dasha Gamaka Kriya. In Carnatic music, there are 10 types of gamakas, Dasha Gamakas, which can be very legibly and easily produced in the Veena. So Veena Gana Dasha Gamaka Kriya. So Gamaka Kriya is the Raga Mudra here. Similarly, we have many examples. Jambhari Sambhavite Janardhananute Dvijavanti Ragayute. Dvijavanti is the name of the raga. So Dvijavanti Ragayute. This is also a composition of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar. We find many examples of Swaraksharams and Raga Mudras in Muthuswami Dikshitar Kritis because he was a scholar in Sanskrit and in music and in everything. So similarly, another example in other languages also we can find the examples for Ar Abhimanam Vait Adarippar Ennai. This is a Tamil composition, but Ar Abhimanam Vait, who will honor me with love and respect. That is the meaning of the composition. So Ar Abhimanam Vait, that is the word, but when it combines, it becomes Ar Abhimanam. So Arabhi is the name of a raga. Arabhimanam Vaita Adaripar Ennai. Arabhimanam Vaita Adaripar Ennai. In Tamil, when we pronounce it together, it becomes Arabhi. And the ragam of that line is Arabhi. This is a very beautiful Ragamalika composition. Every line will have each raga. For example, Arabhi, then Ananda Bhairavi, then Kalyani, like this. Arabhimanam Vaita Adaripar Ennai. Ananda Bhairavi. Ananda Bhairavi is the ragam. Parilunne Yellal Parama Kalyani. This is Kalyani. Yaridatil Solven Hamsadvani Shivakama Sundari. This is Hamsadvani. So each line is in each raga in this composition. It has 14 ragas. So next slide, please. This is about Raga Mudras. So there is a special mention on the characters of which are in our epics in the Ramayana, Bhagavata, and Mahabharata, etc. We have so many characters whose stories are popular to us. So the stories of all these people, all these characters, and the peculiarities of these characters have been very nicely told in the form of compositions along with music. In the compositions of Carnatic music. So I would just give a few examples. Drona Karna Duryodhana Dihara. Drona Karna Duryodhana, we know who they are. So the person who killed the Drona, Karna and Duryodhana. Draupadi Mana Samrakshana Kara, one who honored Draupadi. So this is from a composition Bala Gopala Palaya Shivam about Lord Krishna. Drona Karna Duryodhana Dihara Draupadi Mana Samrakshana Kara. Drona Karna Duryodhana Dihara Draupadi Mana Samrakshana Kara. Vainika Gayaka Guru Guhanuda Puravairi Vinuda Gopika Manohar Bala Gopala. This is the composition. So here we can find Drona, Karna, Duryodhana. Similarly, in many compositions we can find this, because the Sahityam of the compositions is very much related to what is told in the Upanishad, Vedas, Puranas, and all these stories and epics. So here we can find rare examples where Garuda, as we all know, he's the vehicle of Lord Vishnu, but the Garuda is a son of Kashyapa Maharshi and Vinata. So Vinata Sutta Vahana Sri Ramana, Vinata Sutta Vahana, the one who has Vinata Sutta as his vehicle. So Vinata Sutta is Vainateya. Similarly, in another composition, we can find Vatatmaja Saumitri Vainateya. So Vainateya is Garuda. So we can understand that it is Garuda because they have used exactly Vinata Sutta. So a person who doesn't know the story of Garuda may not be able to identify. When we say Garuda, it is easy to identify, but Vinata Sutta will get confused. Who is this? Because so you must know the story. Who is Vinata? Who is Kashyapa? And those things. So similarly, in Ramachandra, this is also a composition of Annamacharya. In this composition, he gives special importance to all the incidents, all the prominent incidents of Ramayana. He mentions about Shabari, about Ahalya, about Guha, about Hanuma, Sugriva, many, all the bhaktas and all the important incidents which have taken place in the Ramayana. Similarly, Tyagaraja Swami's compositions, many of the compositions will have reference to Narada, Prahlada, Parashara. Narada, we know that. Prahlada also we know. Parashara is the father of Vedavyasa, who has written the Ashtadasha Puranas. Ramadasulu, here he refers to Bhadrachala Ramadasu, who was a composer before in the 16th century, just before Tyagaraja Swami. So this is a composition which says that he wants the blessings of Narada, Prahlada, Parashara, and Ramadasulu, the way how they worshipped Lord. Tyagaraja Swami also, I also want to worship you, like how they did. So that is the essence of the composition. So we have many examples of a beautiful example and picturization of the Ram Darbar. When we imagine the painting of Rama with Shatrughna and Bharata standing at the back holding the Chatra and everything. So here he mentioned Chatra Chamara Karadhrita Bharata Lakshmana Shatrughna Vibhishana Sugriva Pramukhadi Sevita, one who is served by Shatrughna, Vibhishana and Sugriva. Atri Vasishtha Dhyanugraha Patra, one who was blessed by Atri and Vasishtha, sages like Atri and Vasishtha. These are just a few examples of the compositions where these characters are mentioned. Next one, please. Yes. Now, Sahityam in Carnatic music has so much to do with the temples, the predominant temples in India. For example, Badrinath, Kashi, Madhura Meenakshi temple of Tamil Nadu, Chidambaram in Tamil Nadu, Udupi Sri Krishna in Karnataka, then Puri Jagannatha temple in Orissa, Vithala, Panduranga temple, many temples, Lord Balaji temple of Tirupati, so many. So there are compositions in as per our culture, we know that all the gods dwell in a particular bhava, in a particular temple. Like for us, we have, when I'm driving, I'm a driver. When I'm cooking, I'm a cook. And when I'm singing, I'm a singer. So there are bhavas for us also. Likewise, gods also have bhavas, which in which they dwell at their particular shrines in the temples of India. Now, Shiva is Kala Bhairava in Kashi. He is Nataraja in Chidambaram. So with special mention to these names and the peculiarities of the particular deities of that temple, Muthuswami Dikshitar has composed so many kritis. For example, Chidambaram. Chidambaram is the temple of Shiva temple where he dwells as Nataraja Swami. And goddess Parvati there is known as Shiva Kameshwari. So, Chidambara Natarajam Ashraye. This is Chidambara Natarajam Ashraye. Similarly, Shiva Kami Patim Chintayamyagam Shri Guru Gugha Pujitam Horuham Shiva Kami Patim. So, Pati of the husband of Shiva Kameshwari. That is Chidambaram. So, next one, please. There are many examples. The most important where we find many kritis is mainly on Kanchi Kamakshi Devi of Kanchipuram, Lord Venkateshwara of Tirupati, the Srirangam temple in Trichy, near Trichy. Tyagaraja Swami has written the Sriranga Pancharatna kritis, all the 5 kritis which are attributed exclusively to Ranganatha Swami of Srirangam. So here also we can find Srirangam is a temple which is on the banks of river Kaveri. So in the kritis also there is special mention on the Kaveri river, that is Shri Ranganathamupasmahe Nityam. This is a composition of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar on Ranganatha Swami. Similarly, Ranganayakam Bhavayekam Shri Ranganayakam. This is also about Ranganatha Swami. Similarly, there are other compositions. Raju Vedale Chudamurare, Kasturi Rangaraju Vedale Chudamurare. In the Charanam of that composition, Tyagaraja Swami says this: Kaveri Tiramunanu Pavana Magu Rangapurini Kaveri Tiramunanu, on the banks of Kaveri. Pavana Magu Rangapurini, the pious and holy Rangapuri, that is Sri Rangam. So there is special mention on, because it is on this deity, so they have mentioned the geographic location also, that banks of river Kaveri. Similarly, on Lord Venkateshwara of Tirupati, many of the Annamacharya kritis are attributed to Venkateshwara Swami of Tirupati, and the Achalam, that is Achalam or Adri means mountain. There are 7 hills to this mountain, 7 hills to this shrine. So each shrine has each hill has a name, Sheshadri, Narayanadri, like this. So Dikshitar writes, Sheshachalanayakam Bhajayami Vishesha Valapradayakam Sheshachalanayakam. Sheshachalanayakam. Similarly, Venkatachalanilayam Vaikuntha Puravasam. Vaikuntham, Venkatachalam, that's all. Tirupati, the Lord Balaji of Tirupati. Similarly, another beautiful Tamil composition, Srinivasa Turagarudha Mudaya. Venkateshwara Swami is Srinivasa. So here also there is mention on the 7 temples. Jagam Pogadum Yerumalai Mamavane Tirumagal Alamel Mangai Manalane. Alamel Manga is Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi Devi takes the form of Alamel Manga at Tirupati. So Alamel Mangai Manalane. Manalane is lover or husband. So similarly about Kanchi Kamakshi, she is known as Ekamreshwari in Kanchipuram. Goddess Parvati is known as Shiva Kameshwari in Chidambaram. She is known as Ekamreshwari in Kanchipuram. So here also Dikshitar says, Ekamreshanayakim Ishwarim Bhajare Re Manasa Ekamresha. Similarly, another composition is Ekamreshanayike. This is also another composition. All the compositions of Sri Shyama Shastri, who is one among the Trinity, majority of them are attributed to Goddess Kamakshi. The Swarajatis, though Swarajatis are usually the basic lessons taught while learning Carnatic music, but Shyama Shastri Swarajatis are hardcore, that is, which are deep rooted in their music and devotional content. All the Swarajatis of Shyama Shastri are also attributed to Goddess Kamakshi. Next one. Yeah, so we know that, so the relation between the temples and the composers. Now, Sri Kanakadasar is also one of the Kannada composers. He is also composed kritis on Lord Krishna, and he was a great devotee of Udupi Sri Krishna. Similarly, Purandaradasar was a great devotee of Vithala, of Panduranga. Now, as soon as we hear Padmanabha Swami temple, we get reminded of Maharaja Swatitirnar. Maharaja Swatirnar means Padmanabha Swami temple. So that much, the devotee, between the God and the devotee, that there is so much blending. They are so in unison with the temple that we have so many. The Maharaja Swatirnar has written Utsava Prabandha Kritis. They are 11 Kritis which are sung during the Utsavams of Padmanabha Swami temple in Trivandrum. So similarly, Bhadrachalam Sri Rama temple, Bhadrachala Ramadasu was a great devotee of Rama, and he was named as Gopanna. Then because of his story, because there is a long story, and then he was named as Bhadrachala Ramadasu, who is the person behind the construction of Bhadrachala temple of Sri Rama. Of course, Tyagaraja Swami, all the compositions, majority are about Sri Rama. Shyama Shastri was a Kamakshi Devi Upasaka, so many of his compositions are on Kamakshi Devi. Please, next one. Yeah, Neraval, as I have said before, it is a very important part of Manodharma Sangita, where we do spontaneous singing. Though we call it spontaneous, we get habituated to singing the same line several times, and then we start innovating this particular line with different musical phrases, with speed varieties, etc. Now, there are different types of when we do Neraval, the first thing we have to take care is the proper splitting of words, because otherwise it will become like, you must be aware of comma killed a man. That is, a policeman sends message to the jailer, kill him, not leave him. So kill him not, comma, leave him. Kill him not, comma, leave him is don't kill him, leave him. Kill him, comma, not leave him is kill him, don't leave him. So sometimes if the comma is misplaced, it will be opposite. So we must see that that doesn't happen when we sing in Neraval. This is for special mention on vocalists like us, because this very much happens in concerts when we sing every time, because when we concentrate more on music, maybe the sahityam and splitting of words may take the second preference. So at least a few times in the first speed of singing Neraval, we can manage to sing with proper splitting of words. So I have just mentioned a few examples here. Paluku, both are in Telugu. So Paluku palukulaku teniya luluka mataladu. Paluku means speech. Paluku palukulaku teniya luluka mataladu. Rama ni samanam evaru. This is the composition. Tyagaraja Swami says, Rama, who is equivalent to you? Rama ni samanamu evaru. Who is there to equal you? In the Charanam, the paragraph, he says, Paluku palukulaku teniya luluka mataladu. Every word Rama utters sounds like honey is flowing. So, Paluku palukulaku tene. Here the beat comes of the tala, because in sahityam, in music, it is not just about the sahityam. It's about the music, the talam, the beat, and then the blending of the sahityam. So we can make small changes here and there to place the syllables properly and give the correct meaning. Paluku palukulaku teniyaloluka mataladu. Paluku palukulaku teniyaloluka mataladu. So we can do these kind of things when we sing the first speed of Neraval. Otherwise, pa, lu, ku, la, ku, everything will be mixed. So that won't give the proper idea of what is the sahityam. First, if we sing the first speed and then sing the second speed, it's okay, because we know, we have heard the sahityam a few times, and then we are switching into music part of it. So then it will be fine. Similarly, when there are prolonged syllables in the sahityam, we choose. to do Neraval. For example, Neela, Neerada, Sharira, Dhiratara. So here we have many prolonged syllables. So what happens is we get more time to think, more space to innovate and include many musical phrases. Neela, Neerada, Sharira, Dhiratara. So Neela, Neerada, Sharira, Dhiratara. So we have space here. Whereas for some sahityam, it may be meaningful, but we won't have the chance to elaborate all the notes. So we must plan. We can sing Neraval there also, but we have to plan accordingly. Similarly, there are also a few lines where they will be meaningful, but they will be incomplete. Sometimes it also happens that the charanam, the last paragraph, the first line, second line, 3 lines, all the 3-4 lines, and then when it rejoins Pallavi, there only the meaning will be complete. So we cannot take all the 4-5 lines for Neraval singing. So there we would actually see that, suppose for example, Prema Jupi Napai Pedda Manasu JC. Prema Jupi is showing love and affection towards me. Napai, on me. Pedda Manasu is a huge heart. So with a huge heart, please show love and respect to me. Now the sentence is not actually complete. At JC, it is not complete. Doing, it is ing form, so that's not complete, but still the meaning is conveyed. The thing is, you have to show love and affection on me with a huge heart. So we take this line for Neraval singing. Prema Jupi Napai Pedda Manasu Jesi. 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 Prema Jupi Napai. So we can do Neraval like this. When it comes to second speed, things will be because we concentrate on music more, so that can be excused. Only thing, first speed and the first few times we have to sing properly. Similarly, another example which I just rendered, Kaveri Tiramunanu Pavana Magurangapurini Kaveri. The meaning is on the banks of river Kaveri at Srirangam. That's all. The sentence is not complete. At Srirangam, what is there in the remaining part of the Charanam? So, but we choose this because Kaveri Tiramu, Pavanamagu, Rangapurini, everything is there. So we choose this for Neraval singing. Yeah, next one. Yes, the most important part of the Sahityam in the compositions, we know that there are many types of contents in Sahityam. Sahityam can be devotional and philosophical. It can be the romance and the love between the hero and heroine, the Nayaka Nayaki Bhava. That is also a kind of bhakti. We have the example of Bhakta Meera. She treated Krishna as her lover, as her husband, as her everything. So that is also a way of bhakti. So we can find these type of Sahityam in Padams, Javalis, etc. These musical forms are extensively used in dance music also, because it helps for Bhava Abhinaya, to show the different moods of the heroine, the grief of the grief of separation from her lover, so many things. So this paves way for all this kind of Bhava Abhinaya. So these are a few padams. We cannot find many padams during the Trinity period. Of the Trinity compositions, there are no much padams and javalis. Even during pre-Trinity, there are Kshetraya padams, and mainly the padams of Maharaja Swati Tirunal, and many other such great composers. So one of them is Parulanna Mata Nammavaddu Prananayaka. Parulu means outsiders. Parulanna Mata. Nammavaddu means don't believe. Prananayaka. Prananayaka is near and dear. So she is saying to her lover, please don't believe what the outsiders say. I'm there for you. That is the ultimate thing. So Parulanna Mata Nammavaddu Prananayaka. Parulanna Mata Nammavaddu Prananayaka. Parulanna Mata Namavadu Prananayaka. This is a padam. Similarly, another padam of Maharaja Swati Tirunal. Itu sahasamunu yelana pai chakani sami. Sami can mean Lord, it can mean husband also. So however we want to take it, however we can interpret in our own way. So the next part is the philosophical and devotional content, which is mainly there in the compositions of Carnatic music. Now, we all know that in India, we have the culture of worshipping so many gods. Though we know that supreme power is the same, but God takes different shapes and different forms and blesses in their own way. So we have throughout the year in the form of festivals also, we have that Sri Ramanavami, Krishnashtami, Deepavali associated with Lakshmi Puja, Navaratri, Ganesh Chaturthi, so many things. So Tyagaraja Swami says that all gods are the same. Basically, Shiva and Vishnu are same. Because I personally feel there is no authentic evidence to this, but I personally feel that there was great rivalry between Shaivites and Vaishnavites at one time. So maybe as a part of social reforms also, that they were saying in their compositions that Shiva and Madhava are all the same. So one such beautiful composition of Tyagaraja Swami is Yavarani Nirnayinchidira. How do I decide who you are? Shivudavo, Madhavudavo, Kamalabhavudavo. Whether you are Shiva or Madhava or Kamalabhava. Kamalabhava is Brahma. How do I decide who you are? And he gives a very beautiful explanation of this in the Charanam. Shiva mantra munaku ma jivamu. Shiva mantra is Shiva Panchakshari, Namah Shivaya. Shiva mantra ma jivamu. Ma, the letter ma is the jivamu. Why? Because Namah Shivaya, if you remove ma, it is Nashivaya. So Shiva mantra munaku ma jivamu. Madhava mantra munaku ra jivamu. In Narayana, ra is the jivamu. In Namah Shivaya, ma is the jivamu. So these two syllables put together is Rama. So he sees everyone in Rama. So he says, Shiva mantra munaku ma jivamu. Narayana Madhava Mantramunaku Rajivamu. I read somewhere that there is special mention on this in the Rama Rahasya Upanishad. In Hanuman says this, in that Upanishad, Hanuman says that Narayana Ra is the Jivamu and Shiva Mantra Ma is the Jivamu, both combine this Rama. So Tyagaraja Swami says, "E vivaramu telisina ghanulaku," to all the great people who have known this fact that Rama and Vishnu and Shiva, everyone is same. To all of them, my salutations. Tyagaraju Rokkeda. That is the, similarly, we can find many examples of Sri Purandara Dasa. We can find the example, Rama Mantrava Japiso He Manuja. Here he says in the Anupallavi, mantra me chinikeda bed. Don't go after this mantra and that mantra. Somashekara Tanabhavini Toruva mantra. Somashekara, this is the mantra which was advised by Somashekara, by Shiva to his wife. So this, the Rama mantra is what Shiva advises. And we know the example of Rameshwaram, where Rama did the Shivalinga, did worship the Shivalinga at Rameshwaram before waging the war against Ravanasura. So this is one example. This is a Kriti addressed to Lord Rama. Another Kriti which is addressed to Lord Shiva. He says that Chandra Choda Shiva Shankara Parvati Ramana Ninage Namo Namo. In the Charanam he says, Poralali Bhasima Rudrakshavadharasida Parama Vaishnavaru Nine. You are the true Vaishnavate who wears Rudraksha and Bhasma. So he says that Shiva, and the essence is that Shiva and Rama, Vishnu, everyone is the same. Similarly, another important aspect is bhakti, the devotion. Whatever pujas we do, rituals or anything we do, devotion is the most important thing. There are many ways we celebrate festivals. There are many ways we do puja. At each place it is different. In south it is different, north it is different. So, but the most important part is bhakti, the devotion. So Tyagaraja Swami says, for some people, the ultimate unison with God is through meditation, through yoga. For some people, it is through social service. For some people, it is through puja and rituals. So for them, it is through music. So Sangeeta Jnanamu Bhakti Vina Sanmargamu Galade Manasa. Tyagaraja Swami says, Sangeeta Jnanamu, the knowledge of music, Bhakti Vina, without Bhakti, Sanmargamu Galade Manasa, will not lead you in the right path. Sangeeta Jnanamu Bhakti Vina Sanmargamu Galade Manasa. Sangeeta Jnanamu. He says that Sangeeta Jnanamu should be, Bhakti should be the primary importance, the first preference. Then Sangeeta Jnanamu is different. You may have Sangeeta Jnanamu, some other people may have Jnanam in some other thing, that is okay. But Bhakti is the ultimate thing. In another Kriti also he says, Bhakti Bichamiyave. It means Bichamo is Bhiksha. That is Tyagaraja Swami, how he lived through Unchavritti. Unchavritti is, he'll go only to 5 houses per day. Whatever he gets from there, contently he'll have them, and rest of the day is fully Rama story, singing about Rama, listening about Rama, that's all. So Tyagaraja Swami says, Bhakti Bichamiyave, Bhavuka Magu, Satvika Bhakti Bichamiyave. Now he says, give me Satvika Bhakti as charity, in charity. What is Satvika Bhakti? Now we have Sakama Bhakti and Nishkama Bhakti. Kama is desire. Sakama Bhakti is different, Nishkama Bhakti is different. Sakama is when we have certain desires to be fulfilled. We pray God that I should get good marks in exam, or I should succeed in this, I should do that, I should do this. That's okay. That is also proved right in many of the Puranas, because everyone did penance for this. Ravanasura has done penance, Narakasura has done, so many people have done and they have succeeded. That's okay. But Tyagaraja Swami says, Satvika Bhakti Bichamiyave. Nishkama Bhakti is different. Nishkama Bhakti, I don't want anything. I just want you. Nothing else. Complete surrender. So Tyagaraja Swami says, give me that kind of bhakti. And why he says this in the Charanam? Pranamu leni vaniki. For a lifeless person, a body which doesn't have pranamu, life. Bangaru paga chutti. Bangaru is gold. Paga is turban. Then he says, Ani Vajra Bhushanamulu. All this jewelry, diamond and kind of things. So what is the use of decorating a lifeless person with golden turban, jewels and everything? So the most important is life should be, the pranam is the first thing. Then garnishing and decorating is as per our ability, we do it. So Tyagaraja Swami says that is, bhakti is like that. The most important thing we should have is bhakti, not the other things. So that's what he says. And now Satvika Bhakti, we have anyway talked about Satvika Bhakti. Now how does this Satvika Bhakti come? For as human beings, for us it is very difficult to see that we don't have any desires. We have desires and they have no limits also. So every time when we are born, we say we must get good admission into good school, then it becomes something else, then it becomes something else, then good college, then do good job, then marriage, then something else. So that is an endless list. So in between this, as per Bhagavad Gita also, Sri Krishna says there are Shad Ripus, 6 enemies for human beings: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsaryas, all the 6. So we must get rid of all these things. That is what is the ultimate aim in life. And to get rid of them is not very easy. So Tyagaraja Swami said, how we get Satvika Bhakti is with a Shuddhamaina Manasu, with a clean, pure heart. Now, what is a clean heart? Which is rid of all these Shadripus, all these enemies, the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsaryas. So Tyagaraja Swami says how music leads you to attain a pure heart. Nidura niragarinchi Muduga Tampurapati Shuddhamaina Manasuto Suswaramuto. Nidura Nirakarinchi, avoiding sleep. Mudduga Tamburapati, holding Tambura in your hands. Shuddhamaina Manasuto, with a clean, pure heart. Suswaramuto, with melodious singing. That is how we must sing. Now this pure heart, only I know whether my heart is pure or not. Nobody else knows, because what I can say, you can hear. What I think, you can see. What I think, what I do, you can see. What I think, only I know. So it is my sole job to see that my mind is clean. So Tyagaraja Swami says, how does the mind get cleansed? Ni nama mujhe namadi నీనామముచే నామది నిర్మలమైనది. నీనామముచే, by chanting your name. Namadi, my mind, nirmalamainadi, has got cleansed. So by chanting God's name, mind always gets cleansed. Now, how we should chant names? How we always have the habit of chanting names as a habit. But when we sit, concentrate, think about it, and then chant, that is a different experience altogether. So Tyagaraja Swami says how we must chant the names. Telisi Rama Chintanato Namamu. Telisi Rama Chintanato Namamu Seyave Manasa. Telisi is knowing. Rama Chintanato, thinking of Rama. Namamu Seyave Manasa. Do the chanting. So Telisi Rama Chintana. Now Rama Chintana, thinking of Rama, is easy because we have an image of Rama. Rama is Ajanubahu. His eyes are like this. He's Neela Megha Shyama. He holds Kodanda in his hands. We have all these pictures. Thinking about Rama is okay. Knowing about Rama. How we know about Rama is Purva Bhashi, Mita Bhashi, Mrudu Bhashi. Purva Bhashi, if there are 10 people, Rama will be the first one to go and talk to all of them. That is Purva Bhashi. Mita Bhashi speaks only what is necessary. Mrudu Bhashi, soft spoken. Now Rama is like this. And then Rama is mentally very stable. Morning 10 o'clock, they came and told him, your Pattabhishekam is fixed. Night 10 o'clock, they came and said, you have to go for Vanavasam, into forest. So Rama just smiled at both of them. This is exactly the quality which Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhakti Yoga. Shitam Ushnam, Sukham Dukkham, Manam Apamanam. Everything you must treat equal. It is not easy, but at least we must try to be mentally stable. He was not excited when there was Pattabhishekam. He was not depressed when it was cancelled. So that is, we get to look. So now when we know about Rama, we know all these things about Rama. So know about Rama, then think about Rama, then chant his name. When you chant his name like this, our mind gets cleansed. With this clean mind, sing music. Then what we get is Moksha Mugalada Bhuvilo Jeevan. Moksha is ultimate salvation, the unison with Lord. So this is the path how music should be used to attain moksha, Tyagaraja Swami says. So this is the importance of, to conclude with, I would just say that we know that Sahityam is not a prerequisite to enjoy music. It is not that Sahityam is there, it should be mandatory to enjoy music. We don't say that. But we say we cannot let go, or we cannot neglect this great content, this deep-rooted knowledge which is there in Puranas, Vedas, and everything, what they have learned from them and what they have experienced and literally implemented in their lives. They have lived their compositions. If Tyagaraja Swami has said, Nidhi Chala Sukhama, Ramuni Sannidhi Seva Sukhama. Nidhi is treasure. Ramuni Sannidhi is Rama's Seva, serving Rama. So for Tyagaraja Swami, Ramuni Sannidhi is the ultimate happiness. For us, it's not so. For us, it is, we search for Nidhi, then if we have time, then Ramuni Sannidhi. So for us, why we don't get is because of this, we don't get. But Tyagaraja Swami gets it very easily because he doesn't want anything. He just wants only this. So this is a very important and very deep-rooted knowledge. Similarly, Tyagaraja Swami also says, Rama Kadha Sudharasa Panamu Vakarajyamu Jesune. Rama Kadha Sudharasa. Sudharas we know, it is nectar. So Rama Kadha is the nectar. So what is the use of this nectar is, he says in the Charanam, Dharmadhi Akhila Phaladame Manasa Dhairya Ananda Saukhya Niketaname. A mind which has drunk the nectar of Rama Kadha is always a place of courage, peace of mind, and happiness. Now, what is courage? As per Ramayana, courage is facing obstacles is courage. Building six-pack body and hitting 10 people is a different kind of courage. But actual courage is facing obstacles is the real courage. So Rama had it. So Tyagaraja Swami says, this is the most important part of drinking Rama Kadha is that we will always be safe, happy, peaceful, always. And he also says, Karma Bandhana Jwalanabdhi Navame. Navamu is boat, we know. Nava in Hindi also, it is boat. So what he says is, Karma Bandhana Jwalanabdhi Navame. A nama, a story which takes you across, which helps you cross the hurdles and hardships in life. So that is what Tyagaraja Swami says about Rama Kadha. Now we must understand that The compositions of all these Vagyakaras, let it be Purandaradasa, let it be Annamacharya, let Tyagaraja Swami, whoever it is, their compositions are also Sudharasam for us. Their compositions are also nectar-like advices for us, which they have learned hard way. So we must at least try to reach out to the Sahityam as performers and listeners. We must try our best to do complete justice to the Sahityam. It's not that we should compromise on music, because in a 2-hour concert, Carnatic music concert, only half an hour will be there for compositions. If you sing all the compositions together, it won't take more than half an hour. All the rest of 1.5 hours is Manodharma Sangita of Ragam, Tanam and Swaram, where we take the help of only syllables to for rendering music. At least when we render them, when we sing Neraval, where there is importance to Sahityam, those places we can combine with good music and see that that is not split in the improper way, or that doesn't convey the proper meaning. So these are a few things which we can observe as listeners and performers. So that's all I have to say. Sangeetam api Sahityam Saraswatyas Dhanadvayam. Both are equally important. Nothing, we cannot place one above the other. So thank you, Preet and Meera and Shankar sir, for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much, NIS. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was definitely most wonderful. We really enjoyed your talk. I'm personally a student of music, and I can't say how much I loved your singing snippets as well in between. I think the only small complaint and request I have at the same time is that every time you started singing and then you would stop and explain, I don't know whether I should listen to the explanation or feel sad that the music has stopped. So I think we would all very much love to hear maybe at least 4 or 5 lines from you in one go. I'm sure all of us. So we will get to that, but before that, we'll take a few questions and comments from everybody.
Yeah, sure.
I can see a couple of questions, and not questions, but comments here. So, okay. Sandeep has written that his mic is not working, so I shall read out his comment.
Okay.
An excellent lecture by Srimati S.K. Mahati today. Those bits in between she sings were so marvelous and mellifluous. So nice that the bhava of each raga is so amazingly brought out in such short phrases itself. Being a student of Tamarkad Govindan Nambudri sir myself, and have listened to Krishnan Mash and Kirla Verma sir at many occasions. Also late great Prabhakara Verma sir, these explanations brought a good lot of nostalgia to me. The way these great masters explain the beauty of Sahitya of each Kriti is so special. So glad Srimati Mahati is following that glorious tradition in her lecture. All the very best to Srimati Mahati. Thank you, Kavila, for bringing this gem of a session. Thank you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have Ratnavali ma'am also saying something. Would you like to unmute yourself and speak, ma'am? Ratnavali ma'am? Preet, can you try and unmute her?
I have requested for an unmute.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Kavyalap, and it was a wonderful talk, Srimati Mahati.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. I wish you had more time to sing a few more bits of the Kritis. And it's rare to see someone giving so much emphasis to Sahitya, which I think I enjoyed because I speak Telugu. Maybe there's a bias, but without the Sahitya, there is no Carnatic music, I think. And many times people are doing a lot of mathematical gimmicks, but the soul of the music is lost. So it's very wonderful to hear you and emphasize the Sahitya and how it is intertwined with the music. So you should not be splitting it. And I wish you more bhakti and more soulful singing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ratnavali ma'am. We have a comment from Devashri Trivedi. Shall we hear from you, Devashri?
Yes, 1 second. Yeah.
I just want to tell Mahati that what a wonderful, outstanding, well described, well narrated lecture, and what a divine voice. I agree with everyone commenting that please, we do wish to listen to you even for a minute more. because we just can't get enough of your voice. So please.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sure, we'll do that.
So we will also take a comment from Veena Kabinada. Yeah.
Veena ma'am, yeah. Veena ma'am, I've requested for an unmute. You wish to speak? Yeah.
Namaskar, everybody. I am so delighted to be hearing to Srimati Mahati ji. It was absolutely wonderful lecture, so much knowledgeable and so huge, full of knowledge about
Thank you so much.
this and importance to Sahitya. Like previously someone said, nowadays people are not giving importance to Sahitya. It is very important. And you emphasize that point. Thank you so much for this wonderful lecture.
Thank you so
and
much.
thank you, Preet, for sharing this link for this lecture. Thank you, Kavya Lap also. Thank you, ma'am. Wonderful.
Thank you, Veena.
Thank you.
Ma'am, and we have Bhageshri also commenting. So let's unmute her, maybe, Preet.
Yes.
Hi all, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
Well, I think I'm just going to repeat what everyone has said, and I'm sorry, Mahati ma'am, that you're going to have to bear with us all. But this was so flawless. I have
Thank
been
you so much.
privileged enough. I would like to tell the audience to listen to some amazing performances of Vidushi SK Mahati in person in the past. And her, I mean, I don't need to tell anyone that her technical excellence, her amazing voice texture, and the way she just infuses rasa and bhav into everything is a treat for any member of the audience. But today, like I have written, was like meeting her in a completely different light. And I would say that I have become a fan of the way you teach after today. So please take me as your student. And thank you, Kavya Lab, for giving us this wonderful experience.
Thank you, Bhageshri. Thank you. Your name is the name of a raga, Bhageshri.
And that's all there is to me and music.
Okay. Thank you, Bhageshri. And we have Naina Trivedi asking a question. If you would mind a 60-year-old disciple, if Naina would want to speak.
There is no age to learn and enjoy music. Music is meant for everyone. It doesn't have any geographical boundaries, nothing, no differences. It's all the same.
Okay, and Upendra seems to have a question.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Requested for an unmute. You could speak.
Oh, thank you. But my question is, why someone become a singer? More than the hard work and practice, is there any element which works in an individual to become a singer? Because I mean, I always have this question when we have, chosen an art field, because one become an actor, one become a poet, one become a singer. For singer, is there is any unique? What is that unique? Made
X
him
factor,
or her?
you mean?
Yeah, X factor. Yes.
Well, in any art forms, I feel personally, in any art forms, dedication is the most important aspect. In any, for that matter, any profession that is there, for dedication, the art forms, usually it is like, it is not very easy to apply our own innovative ideas. It is not as easy as a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So give values for a and b and you get the answer. It doesn't work like that in an art form. So because creative content is more, we have to imbibe that art form with practice and dedication and a lot of listening to music. As far as Carnatic music is concerned, we have to listen to concerts of great people. We have to always keep listening and then try singing. It's not that Guru says something and then we take it as such and then we sing only that. Our contribution should also go into it. And that depends on our skills and our capabilities, how we can stand out from others. If we can do something extraordinary, something more to contribute, maybe that will be the biggest the biggest achievement as an artist we can make. We have wonderful artists. For example, mandolin U. Srinivas sir. Nobody even knew the instrument called mandolin in Carnatic music. He's the person who introduced it. Nobody taught him at the age. He's a great person. He's a child prodigy. we lost him very soon. That is very unfortunate, but still, people came to know about that instrument because of Mandolin Srinivasa. So doing something so extraordinary is very difficult. That is, I should say, God's blessings. There is, I'm not getting any other word for it. So X factor, I would say that we should be dedicated and we should try to improve our music always. Always be a learner. That is the X factor. Other things are God given, because voice or good gurus or so many things have to fall in place, support from family, so many things. So those things are definitely we get by the grace of God. Other things, what we can do our best is stay dedicated always, 100% dedicated, have respect for our gurus and our elders, and have bhakti, as Tyagaraja Swami says. Bhakti is the thing.
Thank you, ma'am. I see a lot of music enthusiasts, students of music, at least the ones I know here. There's Pushya, there's
Dr.
Ashwini.
Pushya, yeah.
Yeah, so I would ask Dr. Pushya to speak a few words if she would want to.
Sure, of course. First of all, thank you so much, Mahati ma'am, for such an absolutely wonderful lecture, and the music was divine. And since Preet said that that there's a Kavyalab with SK Mahati, I've just been waiting for this session. So it was absolutely brilliant. And I, like everybody said, I would love it if you could sing a little more, because it was so divine hearing so much music from such a knowledgeable person. I have learned also, and
Great.
It was an
Thank you
honor
so
and
much.
a joy to be able to listen to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pushyaka. We have Atul asking a question.
I've requested for an unmute.
Yeah, hello. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah, so my question is, what is the pinnacle experience that one can expect from music? So ma'am was telling that many of the musicians, they were devotees of certain temples, so they all had their own deities. So when they created music, it was a form of meditation, it's a form of a prayer. So in modern days, when you look at the music, what can we expect? What is the pinnacle experience one should aim, or when he decides she designs a music? What is that maximum thing that can happen?
I would say that, as you said, the devotees, they were all tapasvis. We should call them tapasvis. They are not just musicians. So they have the ultimate aim for their lives through their music. What they wanted is the ultimate unison with God, the bhakti and those kind of things. Now, if you see the stories of, I did not get much time to explain the stories of these great Vagayakaras, but I would say that Purandaradasar, they were all, Purandaradasar was a businessman, and suddenly he realizes this is not the ultimate thing in life, what I want, and then he becomes a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So they have, how much importance they have given to music, we don't know. Unfortunately, nothing is documented. The only source is that Tyagaraja Swami had many disciples, and they took down the notations and the swaras and these kind of things from when Tyagaraja Swami was singing. And then it is an oral tradition for any Indian culture. If you see that Vedas, Puranas, everything was an oral culture. So it is very recently that we started documenting these things and setting a framework to this. So that is one point. Another, can you remind me what you asked about music?
Yeah.
I think.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible, Atul.
Yeah. So my question is, earlier days it was a form of devotion, and the quality of music was so high that it could take the audience into a different state. But today, if you see, most of the music are not, in fact, produced in that level of transcendental states. So it always reflects the state of the creator. Also, the kind of creation which is coming from an artist is also is a representation of the state of the creator itself. So what is it been missing today, and how do we create something of that quality or that nature? I mean, which is something that we can connect to in our own reality. So music, in fact, can take to that level. So how do we create that?
Yeah, so this is absolutely, I was reminded of the great musician M.S. Subbalakshmi Amma, who was Bharat Ratna. who was awarded Bharat Ratna. Everybody know that she was awarded Bharat Ratna for, but why she was awarded is for changing the concept of devotional music. That is the title given to her, for changing the concept of devotional music. That is, she understands the Sahityam, she imbibes it, and then she renders. There are many records, the previous records of MS Subbalakshmi Amma, where she goes to the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, the organizers of Tirupati, and she goes to record the Annamacharya compositions. It is said that she practiced so many times. She went to a Telugu scholar, Nednuri Krishnamurthy sir. He is also an excellent musician, a great vidwan. She goes to him and she's with him. She corrects the Sahityam, understands the Sahityam, and then records and gives the record. So this attitude is the first thing I think we should have. This attitude will itself be very, because we cannot completely put the blame on musicians also, because every musician is from different regions. Some are from Kerala, some are from Tamil Nadu, some are from, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so some are from Kerala, some are Tamil Nadu, Kannada. So we cannot insist, we cannot guarantee that all of them know all the 4 or 5 languages. Now, languages in Carnatic music are in Sanskrit, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, and Malayalam also. So we cannot say that, but for today's what we have in this today's state, what we can do is, as a musician, if I am singing, if I don't know the language, I can ask people who speak that language, pronounce the words correctly in front of them, ask them whether this is correct or not, and then sing. Music is already there in our hands, so we can adjust the syllables and the placement of syllables accordingly. But other things, the meaning should be conveyed. But the thing is, in audience there will be many people who don't know music, but they can enjoy the Sahityam. So if we sing the Sahityam wrongly and say you can take only the music part of it, that is not really fair, because it is their language. They can follow that language. And if we sing that wrongly and say we must learn, I must say we must learn this from film music. They give so much importance to Sahityam that a person from Kerala goes and sings in Andhra without understanding the meaning, without pronouncing it properly, they won't make you sing. So Carnatic music also, we have that option. In previous days, we did not have this option and this much of access. And another thing is, what gurus say, we obey. That's all. That was the only way. So that was the only source of knowledge, through gurus. Now it is many people. Suppose I have learned one composition. I am listening to so many people singing the same composition. So I can listen to people of, suppose I'm singing a Tyagaraja Kriti in Telugu. I can listen to a Telugu musician sing that, and then correct my Sahityam, and then sing it. So we don't have to change the music lesson. Music, let it be there, but Sahityam at least refer and then do it. Another thing is pronunciation. In English, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. There is no stress anywhere. But for our languages, kha, cha, tha, tha, this is there. So we have to see that this also comes in there. And that is where MS Amma stands out, MS Subbalakshmi Amma. Is even when she reads the stotrams, Vishnu Sahasranamam or Venkatesha Suprabhatam, you can see that Atha Venkata Shaila Mudara Mater Janata Bhimatadhi Kadana Ratat Paradevataya Gaditan Nigamai Kamala Dayitan Naparankalaye Kalavenu Ravavasha Gopa Vadhu Sharakoti Vritat Smarakoti Smarat Pratipallavika Bhimatat Sukadat Vasudeva Sutan Naparankalaye. So this diction should be clear. Another thing is, even this is very much important in Sanskrit, because if we take Shivatandava Stotram, which was written by Ravanasura, it is very difficult to even pronounce the syllables, because Jatatavi Galajjala Pravahapa Vitasthale Gale Valambialambitam Bhujanga Tunga Malikam. Similarly, Akharva Sarva Mangala Kala Kadamba Manjari Rasa Pravaha Madhuri Vijrumbhana Madhubratam. Smarantakam, Purantakam, Bhavantakam, Makhantakam, Gajantakandhakantakam, Tamantakantakam Bhaji. So this we won't, first thing we should practice is syllables. Kha, cha, tha, tha, pa. These things should be clear. If that is there, obviously Sahityam already is beautiful. They have done it in that way. Only thing, we have to deliver it properly. We don't have to contribute much. Just see that we deliver it in the proper way. So in the one of the compositions, Bhogindra Shayinam कुरु कुशलदायिनं पुरुषं शाश्वतं कलये भोगीन्द्रशायिनं. The last, the charanam. कलितनुति सन्न्यासि भजनानुगुण विहित सुललिताकारमहितं कलुषहर परिसरोज्ज्वल पद्मतीर्थादि खण्डिता शेष दुरितं कलशोद्भवान्वित महेन्द्र त्रिकूटवर मलयाचलेन्द्र विनुतं कलतमन मञ्चि मार्ताण्डवर्मा कलित काञ्चन विमान लसितं पद्मनाभं भोगीन्द्रश. So I'm not doing anything in music. I'm just pronouncing it properly. So this part we can concentrate more. We should learn from MS Subbulakshmi Amma. And of course, we can't blame musicians because technical things in music are also very important. There are so many audience who enjoy that part of music. See, how do we feel when we win a war? That victory, that happiness is different. That is not the bhakti level of satisfaction. Suppose we sing something and the violin plays something. Violin is not, the accompaniments are not able to reach to your level of music. That is something like winning a war. So that is also a kind of satisfaction. So we can't blame anyone for it. Only thing, if we want to give importance to Sahityam, we can concentrate on these aspects. That's all. I hope I'm clear. I don't know.
Thank you, ma'am. I had a small question from my side as well. When it comes to classical music, this is more like a personal question. I have learned some classical music, some Western music, some Veena, some keyboard here and there. So I wanted to ask you, as far as music is concerned, is it better to be a jack of all related trades, or is it better that you focus in one specific, say, whether it is vocals or Veena or whatever it might be?
We must listen to all types of music, but where we must concentrate more, that depends on our own interest and our own skills and so many things. For some people, the voice will suit very nicely for Carnatic music. For some people, it will suit very well for film music. For some people, it will suit very nicely for Western music. I must give the example of Srimati Usha Uttup. Her scale is very low scale, but only she can sing like that, because her voice texture is everything is meant for that kind of thing. So we must choose the right form. It is not that one is above the other. What suits us, that is the most important aspect.
I was asking not in terms of performance, but rather in terms of understanding music itself. Like, would it be more holistic if you were to know a little bit of everything, or would it be more intense if you were to know one thing in great depth?
We must know and listen to everything, but concentrate only on one thing. That will be my suggestion. If you ask me, it's not a suggestion, it's a tip. That's all. There are many great musicians who sing both Hindustani and Carnatic very well. Example is Oleti Venkateshwarlu sir in Carnatic music. His Hindustani is, even Hindustani musicians were surprised. How is it that you are able to sing like this? So some people have that. Dr. M. Balamurali Krishna sir, whatever he sings, maybe in Hindustani music, he has done Jugalbandis, which Pandit Bhimchen Joshi sir, Pandit Jasraj ji, Pandit Ajay Chakravarti ji, so many great musicians. At the same time, he's a great Carnatic musician. So the thing is, Carnatic music is as deep as an ocean. There are so many things in this, and Hindustani music is as wide as a sky. So which one to choose is absolutely, we cannot decide on which is above the other. We must make the right choice, but listen to everything. We must take the good in everything. That is always there.
Thank you, ma'am. So I do see a lot of questions and comments in the chat box. We will definitely be opening the WhatsApp group for many more discussions. So now we'll take one more question from
Shankar sir, I think we'll...
Sir, yeah. So we can have Shankar sir speak probably.
Just a question. First, thank you, ma'am. You brought out the importance of Sangeeta for Vyutpatti, how we are educated about various aspects of our culture unconsciously through the Sahitya of the music. I had just two questions. It seems that Sahitya for music abounds mostly in Shabdalankaras, that is the figures of sound. I wanted to know if there are Arthalankaras also there, like for example, simile, upama, Rupaka, etc., other Alankaras. And that is one question. The other question is, can endowing Sahitya with lot of poetic beauty take away the concentration of the connoisseur from the music?
So the first question, Alankarams, I have also read about Alankarams, where there is, like we have simile and metaphor in English. In Tyagaraja Swami's Kriti is also Meru Samana Dhira. Meru is Meru Parvatam. So Meru Samana Dhira is a simile kind of thing. Compare Rama's valor with Meru, the mountain. So we have Shabda Alankaras like that. I have not made a particular note specially on that. Maybe if I get to read somewhere, I'll just pick up and try to find out. So Shabda Alankaras are also there in music. Another thing about music, in my knowledge, whatever we have read in our textbooks and things, people before the pre-Trinity time, before Tyagaraja Swami and Dikshitar and Shama Shastri sir, for them, Purandaradasar Kritis, if we take, there will be a lot of Sahityam. There are people who do doctorates on the Sahityam in the compositions. There are people who do doctorate in music, technicalities of music. Suppose if we say, take Tyagaraja Swami, he has done so many rare ragas. Those ragas are known to us only through the compositions of Tyagaraja Swami. So it is not that music content is not there, but people are doing research on Tyagaraja Ramayanam also. How Ramayana story is brought up through Tyagaraja compositions. So this is all there. If we cannot say that for our generation, for us, it is like, if I know music, only music. If I know literature, only literature. Only philosophy, only spiritual. But they were everything. They know now. Tyagaraja Swami is doctorate in literature, Telugu literature, Sanskrit literature, Upanishads, Purana. We can't. The list is endless. So they knew everything. So that is one aspect to it. So for us as musicians, though I may sing Tyagaraja Kritis well, but somebody may explain the Tyagaraja Kritis much better than me. So this difference is always there between the Sahityam and the Sangeetam. And another thing is whether it takes away the concentration from music, Sahityam kind of things. I'm not sure. For each people, that depends on the Rasikas actually. There are people who sing bhajans alone. So bhajans, Sampradaya bhajan is Nama Sankirtanam. Just Nama Sankirtanam. Music content is there, which adds to the flavor of it. And that is even more divine and devotional. There are so many people who enjoy that. But to enjoy Carnatic music, some knowledge about music and some knowledge about Sahityam should be there to enjoy that kind of music. So those type of audience, though it's a global stage, the number of people, if we observe, because Sampradaya bhajan is a culture. Is a culture altogether. Many people sing. Many people sit around. They all sing together. One of them sings and everybody repeats. That is a culture altogether. Sahityam in the pre-Trinity compositions like Purandaradasar, Annamacharya compositions, we can find that Sahityam is very much involved. Whether their music was like how we sing today is not known to us. But the Sahityam is the same. There are many great composers who have set tunes to those compositions. So, and Annamacharya's Telugu was a hardcore Telugu. Language also, it is not as simple as Tyagaraja Swami's. Tyagaraja Swami is our daily language. I can understand Tyagaraja Kritis if I know Telugu. But Annamacharya Kritis, even Telugu people will have to refer dictionaries to tell what is that. Because that language was hardcore one. So I think literature had that importance. Perhaps they did not think that somebody will take up these compositions and sing for concerts. So just they did it with devotion. So other things are unknown.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar sir and ma'am. I think we are short of time, so we will take more questions in the Kavya Lab group. If possible, may I please request Mahati ma'am for a few more lines of your singing, because I'm sure all of us are waiting here. And it's my privilege to suggest Venkatachalannilayam if possible, if not any other favorite of yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a composition of Sri Narayana Tirtha. in the Raga in the Raga Durga, that is Raga's name Durga. It's a Hindustani Raga, Hindustani based Raga, and Shuddha Saveri is the it is known as Shuddha Saveri in Carnatic music. Jaya Jaya Durge Jita Vairi Varge Jaya Jaya Durge Jita Vairi Varge Viyada Niladi Vichitra Sarge Jaya Jaya Durge Jita Vairi Varge Viyada Niladi Vichitra Sarge Jaya Jaya Durge Sundaratara Charanarvinde Sukhi Paripalita Loka Vrinde Sundaratara Charanarvinde Sukhi Paripalita Loka Vrinde Nanda Sunandadi Yogi Vande Nanda Sunandadi Yogi Vande Narayana Sodari Paranande Jaya Jaya Durge Jita Vairi Varge Viyada Niladi Vichitra Sarge Jaya Jaya Durge Jaya Jaya Durge Jaya Jaya Durge.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. That was beautiful. So, thank you, everyone. And now I request Preet to give a final word of thanks to conclude our session.
Thank you so much, Meera. It was absolutely a delightful session to have you with us for today's session, ma'am. On behalf of Consciousness Studies Program and Team Kavya Lab, I would like to convey our gratitude to you. And we would like to also convey our thanks to Professor Sangeeta Menon. Ma'am is the head of department and dean at the School of Humanities at the National Institute of Advanced Studies. And thank you one and all for being present with us today and to be a part of this beautiful evening and to be a part of this wonderful evening where so much of music and knowledge is shared. We have our next program on the 22nd of December, Kavyala Paividya, the lineup of some wonderful poets, and looking forward to all your presence on the 22nd of December. Thank you so much, one and all. Thank you, ma'am.